Happy Thursday, everyone. So crime is higher than me. It's getting so bad in California, people are leaving their trunks open. Car trunks. With this crowd, I should be specific, the perverts. But to avoid having their windows broken, they're just leaving the cars wide open, telling thieves to take whatever they want. Thankfully, the mayor of San Francisco says she's had enough of the behavior that she and others have enabled. For now, it is time for the reign of criminals who are destroying our city to end.
It's time that the reign of criminals who are destroying our city, it is time for it to come to an end. And it comes to an end when we take the steps to be more aggressive with law enforcement, more aggressive with the changes in our policies, and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city.
Welcome back to planet Earth. So it's bull poop that's destroying your city? I don't know. I take a look at your shoes. I'm pretty sure that's human. Might as well start there. I mean, still, that's some salty language coming from someone who's proud this city believes in giving people second chances.
We are a city that prides ourselves on second chances and rehabilitation. But we're not a city where anything goes. Our compassion should not be mistaken for weakness or indifference. What I'm proposing today and what I will be proposing in the future will make a lot of people uncomfortable. And I don't care. At the end of the day, the safety of the people of San Francisco is the most important thing to me.
Wow. Did someone replace London Breed with an evil twin? You know, someone who's competent? Now, it's not my job to say I told you so, but I can't stop it. I told you so. God, that felt better than a foot massage. This show has repeatedly warned her that the city was in a death spiral. But like Kilmeade, when we asked him to lay off the aftershave, she wouldn't listen. The mayor refused to read the handwriting on the wall, but maybe she read the feces on the sidewalk. Although it's not breaking news that San Fran has turned into a haven for public defecation, maybe it finally hit her street. I wonder which pooper sent her over the edge.
So you're the guy that's forcing the mayor to crack down, huh? What do you think you did?
Well, look, I mean, I in a lot of people's backyards, and I've hit them all. I mean, Joe Montana, Barry Bonds, the guy who sold steroids to Barry Bonds. So it's very possible that I hit her yard without even realizing.
So just private residences?
Oh, no. I've hit all the great spots in San Francisco. Let's see, I've in the front yard of the house from Full House and right off the edge of the Golden Gate Bridge. They didn't even try to stop me. Alcatraz is on my bucket list, but spoiler alert, I don't have a bucket. I also enjoy a good backyard pool. Above ground only, of course. I'm not a monster. But, guys, I got to run. The coffee's kicking in, and I got to hit Nancy Pelosi's house before dark.
But look, it's also wrong to criticize someone like the mayor for finally making the right decision just because she could have done it far sooner. The fact is, every right decision could always be done sooner. True, I could have quit doing drugs sooner, but does it make it wrong that I still quit later? Or rather, plan on quitting later? In the near future. But let's be optimistic. The mayor's comments seem to be affecting even the most stubborn Democrats currently living in a state of denial. That state being California. They've realized people are dying around them, or at least the people they finally care about, the rich white liberals who make up their tax base. I mean, there is an attitude of lawlessness in our country that springs from, I don't know where, maybe you do.
There is an attitude of lawlessness in our country that springs from, I don't know where, maybe you do.
Thank you, skeleton lady. So yeah, that lawlessness mysteriously grew on its own like your 8-figure net worth. I guess we should be grateful you didn't blame us for it. But the violence springs from you don't know where? I guess that fridge full of ice cream froze what's left of your brain. Because it's obvious to everyone else, far-left politicians and media cowards pushed for defunding the police, as well as policies that made crime an alternative to living a good, honest life. They even helped raise money for rioters. Does that ring any bells for you yet, Nancy? Let's not forget making shoplifting a misdemeanor as long as you stole under $1,000 worth of crap. The leaders didn't seem to mind since these disconnected elites can't imagine anything costing less than $1,000. That's Gavin Newsom's weekly budget for hair gel. It's the eternal Democrat flaw, a refusal to see how their incentives for bad behavior only create more bad behavior. They're like life coaches for criminals. They do everything to encourage them except stand outside of Zales with pom-poms and cheer them on. That's all right, that's okay, just grab the and drive away. Now they admit the city's being destroyed, and Nancy's like, wow, how did that happen? If her face could move, she'd be shocked. Or maybe Pelosi's playing dumb since she already made excuses for mayhem. Remember her response to the mobs destroying public property?
I don't care that much about statues.
Respectfully, shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
People will do what they do, says Princess Frozen Face. But I guess back then, under Trump, it was just easier to side with the mob than take a stand against lawlessness. But now the mob has gotten what it wanted. The city is dying and Pelosi's scared. So this is a change of heart, or whatever tiny organ still beats in Pelosi's chest. And I hope it's real. Remember, after BLM protesters demanded police defunding, Breed announced that her city would be the first to knuckle under with $120 million in budget cuts to both the police and sheriff's department. She was warned it could hurt the city, but she was more interested in appearing woke than safe. Well, I bet you're awake now, London. And what followed? More open-air drug dealing, car break-ins, car thefts, retail theft, property crime, and, of course, murder. Now others have said, but property and violent crimes are lower than historic levels. But that's because businesses and residents stop reporting the crimes. Because, like Kilmeade sending out birthday party invitations, they never get any response.
You have not even introduced me yet.
I'm waiting till you go, oh, man. And also, criminals tend to hold a grudge. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, the rate of arrests dramatically declined for many crimes. In 2021, 19% of all shoplifting reports resulted in arrest. San Fran's progressive DA charged just 46% of theft arrests, a 16-point decline since he took office. And he charged only 35% of petty theft arrests. That's not a reduction in crime. That's called giving up. So now, after all this, Breed is finally changing her tune and urgently requesting more dough for police. And while I want to say you could have done it sooner, maybe I should just say good job. Better late than never. And maybe this can start a true awakening to the destruction that woke policies have wreaked upon every city where they exist. Liberal leaders should be waking up and saying, my God, what have I done? Just like anyone who hooked up with Kilmeade in the 90s. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He knows stock picks like I know cake mix. I eat it right out of the box. Bahnsen Group founder and the author of the book, There's No Free Lunch, David Bahnsen. The Christmas tree. The Fox Christmas tree saw him and set itself on fire. Bahnsen Friends co-host and author of the new book, The President and the Freedom Fighter, Brian Kilmeade. Alaskans rate his act slightly below the Exxon Valdez. Writer and actor and comedian, Jamie Lissow. And she's like a holiday fruitcake with twice the brandy and just as many nuts. Fox News contributor, Kat Tipp. How you doing there, Brian?
Not as good as I was before I walked in. How did I make your monologue twice without contributing to the show? How does that happen?
Oh, you are my perfect punchline.
Yeah, what with me in present.
A cheap and easy laugh, I say.
How dare you?
Yeah, no, I'm saying I will take the cheap and easy laugh. No, you're pro-crime and you support defunding the police. You must be upset that Mayor Breed is a change of heart.
I don't believe her.
Oh, you don't?
I don't believe her. I don't. I really don't think, because we're not that dumb. Nancy Pelosi suddenly realizing that crime pays. She goes, these people aren't poor. They're actually taking this and reselling it. Oh, wow.
Yes.
This is just, she's 111 years old, and she just figured out what's going on in her own town. Here's what I'm saying. Things are so bad they have to change, but don't ask the cops to change. Giving them more money, giving more cops, they're out.
Yeah.
They dealt them out. They're out because they have no power. They certainly don't have her backing, and they're not going to do any arrests until you change the rules and show them some sincerity. You can hire as many cops as you want. They are not in until they get the power to actually do their job.
Yes, and if they make the arrest, Why arrest anybody if they're going to be out on the street before
not
you even
gonna
do the
bother.
paperwork?
They're not working.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them 1 second. And it also shows the desperation. Their internal polls must show that they're going down in flames with the elections a year away.
You know, Jamie, in the green room, you said, let's just kill them all. I didn't know what you meant by them. Yeah.
The bugs.
The bugs, yes, the bugs that were on the wall.
I just want, just with the panel we have tonight, I just want to let everybody know that I don't have a book out. So I didn't know that was a thing.
Why did these cities just let crime get so out of control in the first place?
It's so crazy. It's almost, isn't it really sad to think you have to pull your car up and leave the trunk on? It's like insane. Like,
yes,
it's really sad.
And windows down.
And windows down. Dude, I was in San Francisco 2 weeks ago. I walked home with no pants on because I was worried about a pickpocket. You know what I mean? To be totally honest, that's just what I came up with when the cop caught up to me. But it's really sad. And putting the trunk up, I don't know if that's a good idea. You go like, hey, there's nothing in here, but if you look a little harder, my registration, that's my address. Maybe there's some nice stuff there.
Yes.
As a parting gift, why don't you grab the battery out of my hood?
Yes, it's
You know?
true. It's true. It's like if you're going to leave your car unlocked, they're just going to find out where you live.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Unless, like you live in the car.
I live in the car, so it's like, I go, hey, get out of here. You know, it's funny too. Like, there's obviously pros and cons to everything, and I know there's like a big homeless problem in San Francisco. But my buddy who lives there told me he's saving so much money not having to fertilize his lawn
Okay.
because they're on it.
Yes. Yes. They're poop. You know,
I
human.
thought somebody missed it.
No, we all got it.
okay.
We're all just like, maybe we're just pooped by the poop. I don't know what I'm saying. David, welcome to the show. You know what I noticed? That these cities didn't seem to care until the smash and grab started hitting high-end luxury goods places. It's almost like they could endure the murder, but they couldn't endure the wealthy not being able to shop.
No, I think you're right. She's a funny lady, by the way, not just on this whole issue. The mayor of San Francisco is the one who was caught dancing at a wedding without a mask on.
Right.
And she said, everyone needs to be masked up, and I did take my mask off, but I won't apologize because sometimes you just got to dance.
Yes,
And then
yes.
the spirit moved in her. And I think that what her attitude towards this crime thing is sometimes criminals are just going to be criminals. Speaker Pelosi had said that. But no, it's very arbitrary, and I think that you're right. It got into higher-end neighborhoods, and then Brian's point is good. I mean, a year away from the election, they know this point. It looked pretty good about a year and a half ago, celebrating barbarism, running as the party of the French Revolution. It doesn't look so good now.
Yeah. You know, Kat, we have a new mayor coming in, Eric Adams. He was a former cop. And you see these changes over here. But what about, what nobody is talking about is the resistance from their side, like the school, the board, whatever they call it. What's the board in San Francisco? The Board of Commissioners, or, you know what?
I don't think the audience knows or cares.
Yes.
School people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they call it the board in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
The Board of Supervisors, and that wasn't whispered in my ear from a producer.
No, certainly not.
Thanks, Arash. Kat?
No, that's why I think I disagree with you, Mr. Kilmeade, because I don't think she had to do this. I think that a lot of people aren't doing this. I think she could have just, she saw some new information and she used that information to change her tone on things. People almost never do that.
Right.
And I'm sure that was really hard for her to do, especially she could have just come out and said, the on the sidewalks is white supremacy.
Yes.
Right? Boom, New York Times column. Because look at, it's better than being Cory Bush and, quietly hiring private security for yourself while continuing to say you want to defund the police. It's not always easy to admit you were wrong.
But Kat, she did defund the police. She did. And how does she think it's going to turn out?
Well, she's acknowledging that it didn't. She's not saying I messed up. At least she's saying we're going to do something different. People almost never do that.
You know what she said? What Kat, and it's like sometimes you just got to be grateful for whatever you can get from these leaders, right?
Yeah.
But do you think something's going to be executed from here, or is that a speech?
I don't know.
And Dana Perino, who likes you a lot, she will never admit that on camera.
Yeah.
She says that the cursing is all that's contrived. That when you curse to show you're convicted.
That's what Dana focused on, the cursing.
Right.
She said the B word. She said the B word. I can't trust that woman anymore.
But she's very learned.
Dana's got a filthy, filthy, filthy mouth.
That's true.
Who's the only person on the 5 who has sworn? Not me,
That's true.
not Jesse, Dana, twice. Filthy, filthy little farm girl.
What were you talking about? You're way off track now.
I was talking about the judge.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.